I'm not sure at what point I want to ask that question, but today AI has become um, a major, if you like, aid for young people when they are writing. Um, at any point you feel like putting in a word or two on AI and AI assisted writing. Usually I tell people that applicants, when you're applying, it's okay to perhaps use AI to give you a certain sense of what you should do. But you should be able to write your authentic story if you want editing. And so I always say, don't use AI to generate a generic personal statement or letter or email and spread it across many scholarships, because each scholarship has its own unique qualities they are looking for. So yes, I see here two young ladies, both applying for the same scholarship with different backgrounds, motivations, and profiles. And every one of you, I mean, each of you was able to go through the process. So it doesn't matter what your background is. The important thing is that you're able to pick up what it is that you want to be able to contribute. And like Mami said, not only begging to say, my father died and we are the poorest people in Africa, and I really need this scholarship. Right. Okay. Now, maybe quickly, what role did your referees play in this process? Because I know that referees play a key or critical role in this, in the course of writing your proposals, your personal statement. Sorry, especially, I mean, that you want to tell us to what extent your mentors were provided through this, and did your mentors serve as your referees, and all of that. I do reference for people, but I've also seen very crappy references from academics for people who are applying for scholarship, and because of that, the young people miss the scholarship. How was this critical in your and being able to get a referee who is willing to do a reference for you?
Okay, thank you, sir. So for me, I had a pretty good relationship with my lecturers in LASA. I mean, I was the best student in almost all of their courses. And so for my mentor, my mentor, I mean, is a practicing lawyer. So what we require is an academic reference and two character references. So what I did was, I felt like if I was going to apply, I just want to have the best of the best. So I first had the professors in my faculty. I told them I'm applying for Rhodes. I mean, I have beyond the academic excellence. I have a pretty good relationship with them. I was a good student. Kept on checking up even after leaving the university. So there was a relationship. Yes. So I reached out to say, oh sir, I'm applying for Rhodes, and then one of the requirements is I would need a reference letter. And I did that earlier. That was the first thing I did, even before preparing my personal statement, to give them ample time to prepare. So they had enough time. I think their deadline was 9th of September, whilst the deadline for us applying personally was on the 28th of August. But I told them as far back as the first week in July. That was the first thing I did, so that they have enough time, because they're very busy people and you don't want to cause them any sort of inconvenience. And so I told them so Rhodes also has a guide for reference on how to prepare the reference letter. So I sent the guide to all of them, and so each lecturer has a unique experience of who I am as a student. So they all taught me different courses, and so from the different courses, they could tell what kind of person I was, how active I was in class, how willing I was to impact in the academy, faculty activities in terms of extracurricular. And so it was very easy and I just reached out to the professors first, and they were willing to help prepare. It was so easy for me. That was even the easiest thing. I got five references, and they were all very willing to help. Wow. So I would say that it's largely because I had a good relationship.
Very important.
So you don't know when you need this relationship. So it's just very important that you nurture or people around you. You're very reliable and valuable person as well.
Great. Mami, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, like she said, it's very important to have a personal relationship with whoever is putting putting together a reference for you. I mean, for me personally, when I was when I was applying for the Rhodes Scholarship, I was a research and teaching assistant at the time, and so I had direct access to a lot of the lecturers at that time. So it was pretty simple, and it's also important, like she said, pick those with unique experiences because they'll provide a better and more personal reference compared to, for example, picking the person with the biggest title.
Right.
Like, go and pick the dean of your school, but the dean of your school does not have any personal relationship with you or has not worked on any projects with you. But for as opposed to doing that, I picked lecturers that I had personally worked on some form of project with. So I think I worked on projects with different projects with two of them. One of them too was my supervisor for my undergraduate research project.
Projects. Right.
So, I mean, it's very important to pick professors or lecturers that you've had a personal experience or if you worked with them on some kind of project together with, and when they are putting together the reference, they can speak to that project as opposed to putting together a generic
Generic
reference.
reference. Very, very interesting. I keep insisting that make sure that by the time you finish school, at least 3 lecturers know you by name and by face. And when I say that, the student, like, they ask me, what do I mean? I said, it means that if your name alone was mentioned, the lecturer should be able to identify that, oh, that's Aminat.
Yeah.
If your picture alone was shown, they should still be able to say, oh, that's Aminat. And for people who know you to that extent, they would also typically know you about some of the things you do, how you contribute in class, your temperaments, your strengths, your weaknesses, and they would have experiences to say. So, for example, when they say that she has great leadership qualities, they will not just say that and leave it, but they will demonstrate and say, while she was here, she did X, Y, Z, and that demonstrated that she has leadership qualities. So those are things that I think are very important, and you ladies make that point very, very clear. Build a relationship, ensure that, and I like, Mami, your addition, don't look for big names who don't have anything to write specifically about you. Look for the people who have big things to write about you and not the people who have big names who write little about you. This is for our listeners, and please make sure that you can take care of these as you go through this. So yes, this is getting interesting. We've gone through the beginning, the processes, personal statement and referees, and all of that. I understand that this process also has some interview processes, correct?
Yes, it is.
How did you prepare for these interviews? What were the experiences like?
Okay, let me start.
Okay.
So apparently your application goes through several stages, a couple of stages. So there are
Okay.
different stages, and then they shortlist, and then after which they send you an invite for a virtual interview.
Okay.
So that's for a number of candidates. I think our year was about
60.
40. I don't remember. I think
I
yeah,
heard it
so
was 60.
60. Yeah, I don't remember the exact number, but there's a longer list of people that they shortlist, and then they conduct a virtual interview. So I think for me, I was interviewed for the virtual interview. I was interviewed by about 4 people or 5 or 6. I don't remember. But that, yeah. So it was a mix. I mean, there were some Ghanaians, Nigerians.
Was it at different times, or these were 5 people in a single interview?
Yeah, in a single interview.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And 5 or 4, I don't remember clearly. But there's more coming. But anyway, so we went through that. And then after you so if you are successful, then you move on to the final stage.
Okay.
For our year, we had 15 finalists. So at the end of the day, yeah, we're 15. So for the final stage, then you have a finals weekend. That's where, for me, coming from Ghana, I was flown out to Nigeria.
Oh, really?
Yes, they pay for your flights, accommodation to Nigeria, and you spend a weekend there. And that's where you have the final interview. Yes.
Wow.
So for the final interview, Your interview. I mean, as I don't know if you remember the number of people who were interviewed by at a sitting. I think
14.
about
There
14
are
of
14 of them.
yes. So it's you, 14 people interviewing you. Mind you, these are top professionals. They are the top of their various fields. So we had people from academia, from banking, from so many different, fields. And they're all interviewing you based on your application.
Wow.
That was a very interesting experience, but I would say the finalist weekend is a very interesting experience. Even though I did not end up getting the scholarship, Aminat did, but I didn't end up getting the scholarship. But it was a wonderful learning experience. I mean, a great experience to even become a finalist in the first place. I mean,
Yes.
being shortlisted from so many applicants to 15 people in the whole of West Africa. Mind you, West Africa is made up of what, 16 countries, 15,
Right.
16.
Right.
So it was definitely a wonderful experience. I really enjoyed it. And
If I were you, I'll put it on my CV.
oh,
Rhodes.
it's
Ah,
there. On my CV. Even with the finalists have it. And we even got certificates as well. So for being
oh,
finalists,
wow. That's interesting.
with the finalists had it. But I'll let the winner also speak from her perspective. I know from
Right.
Oh,
100%.
good.
You,
Interesting.
when we were in secondary school, there was this guy who always said, if you are the winner, you don't even get to enjoy like those of them who didn't win.
I know. Yeah, but it was definitely a great experience, and I got to meet so many other bright, intelligent individuals from
Hmm. So
different.
look
I mean,
at it. So look at it. That's why you led me to Aminata. I got a call from her and her mom, and Prof, we've seen that you are doing these things. Would you want us to share experiences? I said yes, because I've been looking for people who can do that. And then she says yes, but I know another winner who can come in, and now here we are. So already, whether or not you and for Aminat, this is a great friendship already built for the rest of your lives. Young women, who are going to be ruling the world. When I'm getting old, I want to get another opportunity to meet the two of you, to see where you guys have really gotten to, right? Shaping the world. And her mother has shown the way that when women do it, it sticks better. So me, whenever I go, the chancellor is a lady, the vice chancellor, the chairman of council is a lady, vice chancellor is a lady, registrar is a lady, director of academic affairs is a lady, director of public affairs is a
Wow.
lady, director of HR is a
Interesting.
lady, director of legal was a lady, director of internal audit is a lady. So you go and meet them, and I say, me too, I'm a lady, because everybody is a lady if you want to survive. If you want to survive. Yeah, so this is exciting. Yes. Aminat, what do you want to add?
Yeah, like Mama said, it was such an interesting experience. It's not a place that you go to and you wouldn't learn from. So, in terms of the first interview, my own first interview was a virtual session, of course. I had two interviewers, and they were just very interested in the concept of financial inclusion, which was like, so whatever you're going to be interviewed or it's going to just be based off of what you have written in your personal statement and your
Right.
academic statement.
Right.
So that is where originality, authenticity, and clear understanding of what it is you're speaking about helps. So when you're done with your personal statement and your academic statement, most importantly, you need to ensure that you have absolute knowledge of whatever it is you're speaking about. Because like Mame said, you're speaking to exceptional personnel, persons who are professors, persons who are at the top of whatever industry you think you want to provide solution to. So you might even not know it better than they do. So it's extremely important that you conduct in-depth research. Go as far back as time immemorial to recent times. What improvements have been done from a legal perspective? What laws have been put in place? What policies have been put in place? Comparative analysis: Nigeria compared to Ghana or compared to UK, US. What's original? What improvements have other jurisdictions had that you think can be impactful in terms of that concept? So it's extremely important that you are very, very well informed in terms of the concept, because by the time you're being asked one or two questions and you're not able to provide the right answer, it then affects your self-confidence, and that will
Right.
just affect the entire. So it's extremely important that you have knowledge about what it is you want to speak about.
But,
And then, but
yeah.
what I would even say is there was a time when, now speaking about Ghana,
Yes.
when I was really looking at, the qualities and just seeking advices from people who had qualified for Rhodes. When I got called, I asked that's the 2025 Rhodes Scholar. I asked him, what do you think I should do differently? And he said, whatever you do, try and be funny. That they don't just want to see an overly serious person, as if you are the one that understand the problems of the world. So just try to make it, a bit relatable and interesting. So once I was speaking to my interviewers about financial inclusion, it just got to a point in my head where I felt I'm getting too serious for my liking. There's no comic relief anywhere. And so I remember that they asked me, what outside of law, what other things do you do that interest you? And I said mentorship. And they didn't really receive it as much. And I said, okay, I cook as well. And so one of the interviewers now asked me, what do you enjoy cooking the most? And without even knowing that he's a Ghanaian, I said Nigerian jollof. So I said Nigerian.
Then you
Then I realized
brought in the fun part.
Who asked a
The
question
right
is a Ghanaian, and that just helped. The entire team started laughing, and that was it. So you ensure that you have absolute knowledge of what it is that you are going to talk about, and try to be relaxed. It's an intense place. It's a very pressured place, but just try to be relaxed. Think of ways to make it fun for everybody. So,
Enjoy
but
the
it's a place to
process.
enjoy.
Yeah. Enjoy the process as you go. Make it fun. Be human, right? You touch the soft spots of interviewers, and that has the potential to kindle some very great connections and stuff like that. Thank you very much. But just a quick one. Were there any questions that took you off? Did you have a question that you said, "Oh my goodness, not this one"?
Absolutely not.
For me, I wouldn't say I had a question that's oh my goodness, not this one. But like she said, they asked, so I mean, apart from for the virtual interview in particular, apart from speaking about your application, the academic aspect and all the technicalities of whatever it is that you wrote. I mean, they also looked at your extracurriculars and all of that. And they asked me a very interesting question. I mean, it's not something I did not imagine that they would ask me such a question, but I wrote about tennis being my extracurricular, and they asked me about equal pay amongst tennis players.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, but it was a very interesting conversation, though. I mean, I gave my opinion, and they were like, "Hey, women empowerment." I think that also brought a bit of comic relief to my interview as well. But yeah, I think we're
I'm sorry. Did I lose you? Did I lose you, ladies? Oh my goodness. Did I lose you, ladies? Hello? 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 I am sorry, ladies, I'm sorry. You see, you brought in the fun part. I laughed and knocked down my source of internet. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, okay. So we were just on this matter of the fun part, be relaxed, which is a very important conversation. I'm not sure that any scholarship scheme wants to sponsor or support people who are passionate about something that they really don't pay attention to what happens in there. So if tennis is your passion, it's not just about you going to play. You should know a bit about the things that happen within that, because power structures and systems have to be challenged from time to time. So if you play tennis, and even if it's for pastime, or as we call it, your what expression do we use to call that?
leisure.
Your leisure, it should be something that you pay attention to. So this is extremely important. Now, you ladies have made references to academic statement and a statement of purpose. How different are these two?
For the academic statements, they are mainly looking at your academics. If I remember clearly, some of the coursework you've taken, basically what your academic journey has been, strictly your academic journey.
Okay.
Personal statements was looking more at connecting your experiences, your leadership, and service to humanity to the Rhodes qualities or to the
Okay.
Rhodes.
Okay.
That's what I'll say the main
Difference
distinct.
is where.
Academic is mainly strictly academic and how it fits with the course or the program that you want
You
to
have
study.
selected. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aminat, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, she's right. That's what it is. Academic statement is focused particularly on the academic side of it, your story. So, how excellent were you in school? What course do you want to go and do in Oxford?
Right.
What particular subjects? You have like an entire course, and then there are exactly. So,
Yeah.
what particular ones are you looking at? What professors do you know that are taking this course? Why is this the particular course you want to do as opposed to, and why is it Oxford? Just practically just talking about you,
Okay.
giving a clear picture that you understand what your academic life would be if you are given the scholarship. You are very clear on. You have a clear goal in terms of the course you want to do. You have a clear understanding of what the course is like. So you don't get the scholarship and then you perhaps get into the university and you don't do very well. So it just wants to a clear understanding that you have a clear picture about the course it is you want to go and study at Oxford.
Okay. This is nice. We are coming to the end of this. But I need you to clarify whether through this process, whether there were any mistakes, any uncertainties, things that you said, maybe I could have done this, but especially you, Mami. Were there things that you thought and said, maybe if I'd done this one and that one, maybe I would have not just been a finalist, but I would have won a scholarship? Are there some mistakes that you think people made that didn't make them even progress to the point where you got to? Are there any lessons that you want to share with people who are planning to apply for Rhodes, either they are those that are currently going through the process or those who want to apply for this in future?
Okay. I would say that first of all, like Aminat said, it's important to have good mentors or good mentorship. I wouldn't necessarily say I do not have any form of mentorship, but I feel like I've done a lot of the things which I've achieved, particularly when it came to applying for master's programs or graduate programs. I did it alone. So applying for Rhodes Scholarship, I did it entirely on my own. I mean, well, with the help of my family, my she's an academic, so I mean, yeah. Even coming here to Johns Hopkins, applying for my program, I did everything. I mostly do everything on my own. I don't, sometimes, occasionally, I reach out to a few people who may already be here and to ask about experience and all of that.
Right.
And I don't think I've had the best feedback or response from some of these people so far. And so that is why I've ended up doing a lot of things on my own, I guess. But I would definitely encourage people to speak to someone who has been through the process. I think it helps. Maybe it would have helped me because throughout the whole process, applying, I did not speak to anyone who went through the process. I had my first interview. I did not speak to anyone who went through the process. Well, I did not know anyone who went through the process. I mean, I could have found them and reached out, but I didn't do that. And then even for the finalists weekend as well, I did not speak to anyone who went through this. And so that's one thing that I encourage people to do. And you may reach out to one or two people and they may not be very responsive. I mean, I understand that people are busy, they have so much, but you shouldn't relent. You should try and broaden your scope, reach out to as many people as you can reach out to. Definitely you get that one person who will be able to guide you and help you through the process. So I think that is one thing that if I could go back or if I would I mean, even moving forward with whatever it is that I want to do in life, I would try, I would look for people who have been through a particular process. It really helps. It gives you a lot of perspective, direction, gets rid of many uncertainties. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. Yes, I mean
Yeah, I agree with her. I really do agree with Mami. And I'll just add that it's really important that you reach out to people who had gone through the path before.
Right.
So for me, and in terms of how busy people are extremely busy. So you don't want to reach out to somebody when it's already late. You don't want to reach out to somebody when to ask questions that you can easily find on Google. So I don't expect that someone will call me to say, "Oh, Aminat, what are the requirements for a personal statement?" That's Rhodes has very generously provided all those informations. So for me, I'll use myself as an example. After I prepared my personal statement, my mentor at the time, interestingly, was extremely busy, so he didn't even have the time to look at the personal statement. So I went on LinkedIn. I saw that Ahmad and two other persons, there were two Nigerians from the previous year that
Right.
got. So I reached out to them on LinkedIn earlier, like a month before the deadline, say, "Hi, I'm applying for Rhodes. I'm completely done with my personal statement. I think it reads well, considering that you are qualified. I just want you to have a look at it from your own perspective, if it's good enough." And it was responsive, although so because there's a long period of time, even if someone doesn't respond to you immediately, you can still keep, as opposed to if it's just a week left.
Right.
So you have like a whole month, so you can keep on reaching out, being polite. And so when we finally had our call, you read through the statement. I was like, okay, your personal statement reads well, but I think you should just provide an example. So there was a particular part where I spoke about the qualities, but I didn't give like a specific example. And so that was what he pointed out, which was interesting. So I did that. And then we also had, like, from that conversation, I built a relationship. And so when it was time for us to go for our interview, I reached out again to say, oh, because I always check up. So I believe that a way to keep relationships is to just check up. You don't have to wait till it's time when you need that person's service that before you reach out. So after the call, I've always reached out to say, oh, how is your program in Oxford going and all. So when I got qualified, I called him and I said, look, thankfully I've gone past this stage. This is the what do you think I can do differently? And that's when he spoke to me about the smiling. Try, don't be all too serious, be a bit funny. They are looking for people who are matured enough to understand the problem, but who are still very humane and very humorous and all of that. And that helped because it was registered in my brain that I need to be funny and I don't know what to do, but it's something that I was conscious about. Yeah, and I also say that be true to yourself. Try to, at the end of the day, there are 15 people and only three persons will be called. But just ensure that you have exhausted yourself in terms of everything reasonably humanly possible of you to get qualified. And I'm saying this because I remember that when we traveled to Abuja,
Yeah.
a day to our interview, I was downstairs just looking at the entire concept again, going back to my books, looking at, just to be sure that I had 100% picture of what
Covered.
it was I
Yeah.
was working on. As I was seated beside a Rhodes finalist from the previous year.
Oh.
So he was a finalist but didn't get qualified for the scholarship. So he came back that year. And I was like, I hope it is not an interview that you are working this rigorously for, because I was up till about 4 a.m. in the middle of the night.
Oh my goodness.
And they were like, no, don't stress yourself. People, they won't ask you questions, strictly speaking, in terms of, because you've gone past it. The moment you did your personal statement and academic statement and the first interview, you have gone past the technicality. Now, this final interview is about who you are, your moral compass. Nobody's going to be asking you technical questions. I said, I know, but I just want to be satisfied my
Sure.
curiosity. I'm not going there to teach anybody anything. I just want to be absolutely sure that whatever I'm speaking to is very authentic, very original, very real. And it's very researchable. So that was the conversation I had. Luckily, when I went for my interview,
Yeah.
about the first 10-15 minutes were moral questions. They were not questions that are really tied to
Any
my
specific
top my
discipline.
yeah.
Yeah.
But funny how one of the interviewers just delved into the concept of financial inclusion. And when I spoke about it, literally every other interviewer had a question. Because when you go for your
Oh
interview,
my
one
God.
person, only two interviewers ask you a question, and then the other persons will just observe. But I was done with the majority of the questions. And it just came up to say, well, you wrote about financial inclusion. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And thankfully, most of what I had spoken to, what I spoke to on that day in front of, were things that I still revised the night before. And
Right.
so it was very easy to speak about it. And so I think that made a very unique difference in my interview session, which is why just be true to yourself, satisfy your curiosity, pay attention to what your inner self is telling you, and just go there with an open mind.
Wow. So I will leave you. Mami has exam coming up. She's hot. But ladies, this is extremely a useful conversation that we have had. As I understand, Mami's strongest recommendation is talk to someone, get to speak with people. Oftentimes, I tell people that, when you are contacting people, write in the way that people would be able to help you. When I do these videos, I have somebody who just come and say, "Hi, Professor, I want a scholarship." I have no idea what scholarship you want. I have no idea what your background is. Someone who comes and say, "Can you get me a scholarship?" Sometimes it's almost like a command, "Get me a scholarship," right? So, I mean, talk to someone. And what myself and Aminat and Mami Araba have been doing is to be talking to you, even whilst you were not seated with us, and to be telling the story or answering questions that you would typically be asking, and to be able to open you up to see what possibilities there are, that it doesn't matter what your background has been, what your discipline of study has been, that you are able to go through this process and either win as Aminat did, or become a finalist as Mami did. And note that whilst Aminat won and is going into the Rhodes program, Mami, through these experiences, succeeded in getting into Johns Hopkins. And when you talk about anything medicine, anything public health across the world, that is the place to go. So whilst she didn't become a Rhodes receiver or scholar, she still went to become to be in one of the flagship universities that you would always want to be in. Two young ladies. Unfortunately, we didn't have a man, and so for me, this is an inspiration to our young women to say that, look, the women are breaking the glass ceiling everywhere. And I was just telling the story of Mami's mother, who is the first female vice chancellor of the University of Ghana. The University of Ghana is now 78 years, I think. Okay, 78 years, and she is the first female vice chancellor. And she didn't come to warm the seat. She came to really do a great job. And I see in Mami and Aminat, Professor Nanaba appear Amfo times, how the mass people say, to the power 10, right? Yeah, so, yes, raised to the power 10. So we can get a lot more fireworks from young women like these two awesome young women. So thank you very much, ladies. I would let you introduce yourselves again so that we would pick it up and so we can insert it in the, as I said, we want to partition this into pieces so that for each of them, we will be able to put an insert on who you are and then before the particular session. I'm sure that you are going to probably get tons of emails from people who are considering or are in the process. But Aminat made a very important point. I expect that people will look up for the information. People will look up for, as I always tell students, go and ask the internet. Go and ask the internet. And I made a joke one day, and one of them said, I said, even if you want to steal government money, go and ask the internet. How do you steal government money? And the internet will tell you. So literally everything you want, you can find. But I'm sure that they are going to be reaching out to you to ask, sometimes just for reassurance and stuff like that. So thank you very much for making time to talk to me and to our viewers who will be watching this. I would keep you posted on when we clean this up and then when we post it. It will be edited, so we'll take out a few things and make sure that we put the story together. So please, young ladies, please talk to me again about your name. So my name is Professor Justice Baole. I am the immediate past dean of the University of Ghana Business School. I'm currently with the University of King Fahad University of Minerals, Petroleum and Minerals in Saudi Arabia, where I am on leave. I do this job as my pastime, trying to talk to people and to educate young people on scholarships and study opportunities across the world. This afternoon, I've been talking to two young ladies, one pharmacist and one lawyer. Ladies, please introduce yourselves.
Okay, so my name is Mame Arba Amfo. I'm a pharmacist by training. I gained my Doctor of Pharmacy degree from the University of Ghana in 2024. And currently, I'm doing an MPH, so a Master of Public Health, and an MBA dual degree at the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland.
Thank you.
Yeah, so my
Yes.
name is Aminat Yusuf. I'm a Nigerian, a lawyer, caught with Nigerian bar in 2025. Yeah, I graduated from Lagos State University as the overall best graduating student in the history of the university. I work with the power and infrastructure team at Olanwa Ajayi, which is a law firm, it's a one law firm in Nigeria, and I'll be in Oxford in September to study a master's in law and finance with the Rhodes Scholarship funds.
Thank you very much, ladies. I wish you all the best in your lives and in your studies. As I say, I want to meet you young ladies 10 years from now when I am retired. And then we would do a repeat of this, right? What expression we would
Where we are now.
Yes, where we are now. Yes, we will do a repeat of this to see what you young ladies have been able to do with yourselves. But I know that you're going to make your parents very proud. And for those of us who know you, we are going to be very proud. Thank you very, very much. And I will share with you the cleanup videos before we send them out. Thank you very much, especially Aminat, who I haven't met yet. This is my first time meeting you. And thank you for sharing your story. And Mami, thank you very much for connecting with us and making sure that this happens. Thank you so much. And Mami, I wish you all the best in your exam, right? Please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And please two of you keep together, keep going. Maybe Aminat will be visiting you in Baltimore at some point, or you will visit her in Oxford, whatever it is. I think
I might actually come to the UK.
It would be nice to meet you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wish you well. Thank you so much, and you are free to exit. And thank you so much. Yes, please.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Mami, me that's why.